I'm still waiting for someone to change my mind on the fact that Windows updates is probably the worst malware on the internet because most people are forced to install it. And the thing is, I've been told by the chat. I mean, who am I to contradict the chat? You can actually do a little bit of research. And if you do a little bit of research, you know how to turn them off so you can only install them manually. The very fact that you have to do research on how to turn them off means that most normal people will not do it. You know, like, I'm not complaining about myself because I know how to get rid of them. It's just that they're being forced on the population. And even then, like, even if you are aware on how to turn them off, the thing about malware, especially the worst one on the internet, which is the Windows update, is that it's kind of necessary to install some of them. Because there are vulnerabilities on the system, and besides the malware that they do, besides the harm that they cause, they also give you a little bit of good thing, you know, so that you have to install them. They're evil, Chad. They're fucking evil. By the way, speaking of Windows, have you read the terms of service of, I think it's like the current version of Windows? Apparently everything that you have on a Windows product, so whether it's Word, Excel, like property of Microsoft. Now, I don't think like they are going to claim ownership, right? Because like they're going to get sued to oblivion. Even Microsoft can't afford lawsuits from like George R.R. Martin over the fact that they will claim, well, you put your paper on Word, so we own it. No, the thing is, they can use it for AI training. So everything that you have on Word, Excel, that type of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a new pandemic at some point in our lives and all of these companies, they start deleting shit from your computer. They already did that during the previous pandemic. So people who had the documentary Plandemic on Google Docs will get deleted from Google Docs. I mean, it's... wow. I'll awaken the Linux people with this talk. Yeah, I'm sure. Hello, Banky. Welcome to the show. But yeah, the thing which is you'll own nothing and be happy is already taking place on the internet. Most people do not care about actually owning stuff. Most people don't even have the stuff on, you know, USBs or portable hard drives. It is what it is. Most people still use Google Docs thinking that it's private. You should get Shondo. I do not know who Shondo is, so I cannot get Shondo. If I was aware who Shondo was, then I would get her. I do want to get the lady that made Andy and the Coffin of Lele. If it's Shondo, then I should get her. But there is a difference between should and the possibility of actually getting her. I'm not Jesus Christ. I can't just get everyone off the internet. I also love the fact that most of my subscribers are like, you should get her on the Arshcast. It's like, motherfucker, I got a channel as well. Why can't I get Shondo on my channel, huh? It's a VTuber. Okay, well, and? Sargon doesn't like VTubers. I actually suggested a couple for his Dungeons & Dragons stream. He didn't want to. That's why I started playing a VTuber. It's kind of funny. It's like, he doesn't consider me a VTuber, but I am. I do have a VTube avatar. I spend money for it, so. Right, let's talk about TikTok. TikTok is amazing. Notice how advertisers aren't pulling away from it, even though it literally sponsors terrorism. But Twitter is the problem, and we're going to talk about it. So, apparently, there was a viral thing on TikTok where people were praising Osama bin Laden's letter, to the point where The Guardian, a publication which did the same thing, and they had to delete the article in shame. So The Guardian published an article, I think it was years ago, But it was basically saying how, like, oh, this letter, oh, maybe it has a point. And due to the recent controversy with what's happening on TikTok, The Guardian has deleted that article. But the internet is forever, and people have archives of it. So what is the thing? It's like TikTok is proactively and aggressively taking down videos, boasting a letter written by Osama bin Laden, laying out his justification for the terrorist attacks of 9/11. Video referencing the 2002 letter, which was published on the Guardian website 2 decades ago, they deleted it by the way, has spread across multiple social networks earlier this week, though how widely was unclear. Well, it was pretty fucking widely, because I was seeing it everywhere. I will tell you the problem that I have. That letter existed for 20 years. Like, for 20 years, literally everyone could have read it, right? And most people that did read it weren't glorifying it. But suddenly, and out of nowhere, on TikTok, there's people, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Oh, absolutely. Killing civilians, right? It's just... So why would it happen? What's the problem? It's the woke ideology. That's the problem, right? Because if you look at woke ideology, I mean, they're very clear. If you talk to leftists, they're not hiding behind the bush. They're not trying to avoid. No, like, they're very clear in what they say, right? Is explicitly mentioned by them. Because there's different ways of viewing the world. I mean, Christians view the world that God exists, and God has a set of commandments and a way that you need to live your life, and they judge whether an action is sinful or not based on what God would say. Muslims do the same, right? Woke people are atheists, so they do not believe in a God. So how do they judge things? Well, they judge things by labeling whether someone is an oppressor or someone is oppressed. It's very simple. It's black and white. There is no shades of gray. You're either an oppressor or you're an oppressed. And it's usually based on the person in power. Like, if the person has power, then it's an oppressor. If the person doesn't have power, then it's oppressed. So everything the oppressed does, literally everything, no exception, is justified. That's how they view it. It's very simple. Like, they actively tell you. It's in academia. It's in the papers. The street activists will tell you the same. Like, it's not a mystery. So this is why, like this is a new way of thinking that people didn't have up until recently. And it's the school system, and it's the academia. And whenever there's a new event that's happening, they will judge it through the prism of oppressor-oppressed. Hello, Christic. It's religion without the benefits. Unironically, it fucking is. I will tell you why. Christianity, right? If you actually are a genuine Christian, and you actually believe that there are so many things, chat, there are so many things that you will do which you may consider an inconvenience. You gotta wake up every Sunday morning, go to church. You gotta donate some of your wealth to the poor. You gotta read the Bible. You gotta pray every night. You gotta pray before every meal. You can't fornicate. You can't have sex outside of marriage. You gotta fast. You know, like a lot of things that you gotta do. But there is a reward. Like, if you live in a righteous manner, if you live in a virtuous manner, you go to heaven. Same with Islam. I mean, oh my God, in Islam it's even harder. In Islam, you gotta hold the Ramadan. If you're a woman, you gotta cover your head all the time. Can't leave your house without being accompanied by a male relative. Gotta put up with the fact that the husband can have multiple wives. But there is a reward. You go to heaven. Right? So you behave in an acceptable way. You do all these things that you normally wouldn't do. And the reward comes after you die. You go to heaven. Okay. With the woke ideology, there is no reward. They flat out say, it's like, oh, If you're a white person, I mean, Robin DiAngelo says it. If you're a white person, you shouldn't expect any type of gratitude. You shouldn't expect any type of thanks. You shouldn't expect anything. Like, it's your job to be anti-racist. Being anti-racist doesn't mean not being racist. It means going to diversity seminars. It means being okay with having your job, taken by another person in order to fit the diversity quota. It means being okay, whatever, it means giving money to reparations. It means voting Democrat regardless of how shit the economy and the crime rate is. Like, those things you gotta do, and you gotta do them constantly, right? But you don't get a reward. There's nothing. It's just you do it, and that's it. Your entire life. Pay reparation. Donate your resources. Go to diversity seminars. Lecture others. Oh my god, like if you're actually a good woke person, you need to be an insufferable twat. Party. You need to call out racist, sexist jokes. It's not really slavery. I don't even know how to put it. It's difficult. Hey V, hope your day is going well. Glad you liked it. It was a good vid. I will share it when you put it online. Islam literally means submission. I think like some say that it can also mean peace, but I have no idea. I did hear both. I did hear that it means submission or servitude, but I also heard that it means peace. I don't speak Arabic, so I can't tell. It is definitely a religion which is more impactful than I have seen in other religions, right? I mean, if you look at the many number of ways they can say Allah, like you got Inshallah, you got Allah Akbar, you got like there's like 5 or 6 different phrases that involve the word Allah. Dar al-Islam is the house of peace. Yeah. I did hear about that. Whatever. That's not my point. We're talking about woke ideology now. The most interesting thing is when you get Islamo-Marxism. Like that's fascinating because Marxism is usually atheistic, but Islamo-Marxism exists. I don't really know how they manage. I think like the Palestinians had like a group. It was like the Palestinian Liberation Army or something, and that was Islamo-Marxist. The Kurds, they have their own version of Antifa. So it's like possible. I don't know how they mix the ideologies though, because again, like Marxism requires atheism and Islam is like incredibly religious. But somehow they fucking manage. That they had existed, so yeah. So anyway, let's go back to reading this, because I find it to be quite interesting. Content promoting the letter clearly violates our rules on supporting any form of terrorism, TikTok said. We are proactively and aggressively removing this content. Investigating how it got onto our platform. Well, I'll tell you how it got onto your platform. Woke people enjoy virtue signaling. So they also enjoy jumping on the bandwagon. If an influential woke person does something, other people will fucking do it. It's not rocket science like how it got on your platform. It's a public letter. Most people know about it. They had known about it for 20 years. It's not like, someone dug it up or it was recently found. No. Content promoting this letter clearly violates our rules and supporting any form of terrorism. Videos dissecting and responding to bin Laden had gained traction on TikTok in the past amidst the Israeli-Hamas conflict. The hashtag letter to America had accrued more than 10 million views by Thursday before the company blocked searches for it. The clips crossed over to X, And apparently the videos had proliferated across TikTok. The TikToks are from people of all ages, races, ethnicities, and backgrounds. Yes, and all of them are leftist. Many of them say that reading the letter has opened their eyes and they'll never see geopolitical matters in the same way again. This letter existed for 20 fucking years. But unironically, remember when Hassan Piker got banned from Twitch for saying that America deserves 9/11? Like, this is what we're talking about. This ideology, this mentality is not new. It's just shocking and surprising people because it's going mainstream, but like it always existed on social media. Like, to see the wokeness spread, I think it's kind of like, look, you guys remember Mr. Medicare? He was actually on my channel back when I had, I think that was like 500, 600 viewers. It was top shit back then. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate the $5. I'm streaming for a while when you're awake. But anyway. I remember talking to Mr. Medicare. It was on my channel. And he was basically saying, well, V, you keep talking about the blue-haired feminists, but like, they're not here anymore. You know, the feminists are gone, blah, 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 blah. And at the time, you know, like, they weren't that mainstream, but, yeah, they used to be on Tumblr, and then they went away. However, they didn't go away. They actually went into HR at many corporations. And their ideology has ingrained itself into these companies. But I remember, like, Mr. Medicare, you know, like, at the time, he was expressing the consensus, which was that, oh, it's just like some fringe ideology on Tumblr. You know, this is something to laugh at. It's on a corner of the internet. Nothing serious. It's pretty much the same with this whole 9/11 thing. Like, the woke ideology was very predictable. You could see where it's going to end up. And unfortunately, yeah, like the problem with why the United States and many other countries are having low recruitment rates for the military, at least one of them is the fact that woke ideology discourages patriotism. It's anti-national in its nature. It discourages the idea of borders, right? So like your nation shouldn't have sovereignty. It discourages the idea of law, like your nation shouldn't have police, which means that they can't enforce the laws, which makes judges useless, and it also makes politicians useless. It's like, well, if you pass laws as a politician but no one enforces them, then what's the point? It's there to destabilize the nation state. And on top of that, they believe that America is a systemically racist country. It is rooted in bigotry, and therefore it's an evil nation. So if that's the case, yes, then I can see why a woke person would glorify that letter. And I can definitely see why a woke person wouldn't join the military. It's not rocket science. Like all of these things, I have seen them from 2016, and I could talk about it. This is what I've been saying on my channel for all this time, and I was right with every single issue. I wish HR would be automated because 80% of the job can be automated. Nah, not really. Like the thing with HR, one of their, and many people don't talk about it. Like the first reason why you have HR, like why would you want HR in your company? Well, you would want it for networking purposes, right? Because HR people network with one another. So like, for instance, if I were to want to hire a person that knows how to do live 2D, HR would probably know a couple of people, and they would manage to hire them, right? And it's a lot easier than if I put on an ad and I get someone. Like, they would actually recommend someone professional. So that's like one of the things that HR actually does well. Cross-company networking. The other thing that you want HR for is to get people fired. So normally, because of various laws and regulations, it's very difficult to fire someone. Especially when they're doing something that's not illegal and you can get sued for firing them. So like, let's say You have someone like Carlos Maza, you know, a gay guy, and he starts an activist group within your company. He starts a union, starts demanding for better pay, blah, blah, blah. And I asked the company, want to get rid of him. He's uncomfortable. So how do you do that? Well, HR, every single time they get a complaint, whether it's true or not, you know, like someone goes and says, well, Carlos raised his voice at me, or Carlos looked at me the wrong way. They will take that and put it in a file. And they just document. That's what they do. They constantly document. You know, it doesn't even need to be a complaint. Like maybe you were late for work 10 minutes one day. Maybe you didn't do your assignment on time and you were late with your assignment for one day. Well, whatever. They just add those things in a file. They add them in a folder. And once they have enough, they keep the folder just closed. You know, like everyone has a folder. So once the boss says, I want to fire that guy, they open that guy's folder, they look at it, and then they go like, okay, so we're not firing you because you're starting a union. No, we're firing you because on this day, you were late, and on that day, you delayed the project, and Miss Keen said that you raised your voice at her, and you're a toxic person, blah, 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 blah. AI can do that? I guess, but like the HR is a little bit more conniving, isn't it? Carlos missed quota 3 times in the last decade. Terrible, terrible. Man, there's like this very harrowing video on Twitter, and it shows like this guy saying that his girlfriend got pregnant, and I assume like he's talking to his boss, which is like the HR lady. And it's like this disgusting, corporate display where they're like, oh, so your girlfriend is pregnant. I see. Well, you know what? You should take some time off for like, whatever, and get yourself recharged and refresh. And we are going to touch base within a week. Like all of this corporate stuff. But like she's saying it with a smile, you know, she's very happy, she like everything is fine. And then 1 week later, she is calling him again and saying, I got some bad news for you, Carl. But at our company we did some restructuring, and unfortunately your team like we decided that the position you have in your team is no longer needed, and it's going to get terminated. So now we're putting you in touch with this other lady, and she's going to tell you what things are going to happen. And this other lady is basically, yeah, like we had your position terminated, and you know, like you don't get severance pay, blah blah blah. But it's like so fucking obvious on why they're doing it, right? Like the reason they're doing it is because he's got his girlfriend pregnant, so he's probably going to spend less time at work. He's going to do, he's less likely to do the crunching. He's going to be tired because he's got the baby crying, right? So like, they can't fire you for having your girlfriend pregnant. Like if they do that, that's a lawsuit. But the way they frame it is like, well, actually, you know, we're fine with you having a girlfriend pregnant. Like, go take some time off. It's okay. But like, look, we no longer in your position. It just so happens that, yeah. First 11 weeks here in Denmark, horrible. I did miss my calling. I would have been a great HR lady. It's more or less what happens to me when I got made redundant. Yeah, that's why it was viral on Twitter, because it's not a one-off. You know, it was so relatable. I'm actually curious if I can find it on YouTube. Hold on. There must be such a video on YouTube. So, HR lady, girlfriend, pregnant. It's the most disgusting thing that I've seen. Look at this. Look at this video, chat. So I told my boss my girlfriend was pregnant, right? And it's the smile that's get me, right? It's the smile.
Oh, wow.
may affect work.
Explain some doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
Alright, I won't say anything to anyone except for HR. I will talk to you when you're back. Go enjoy PTO, please, and try to get some mental rest.
Is the body language as well, right? Like mental rest,
Emotional rest.
and the words, the corporate language, right? Like normal people don't talk like this.
Alright, I'll talk to you next week.
Alright, thanks, Taylor. See ya.
Bye. We're here to talk about something completely unrelated to what you brought up to me last week.
The fact that she has to mention it, right? The fact that she has to mention it, we're going to be talking about something completely unrelated. I tell you what happened. It's probably that legal told her, look, you can't fire him for this because it's a lawsuit. Okay? So make sure that you do not fire him for this. Like, we need to come up with a different reason. And the HR lady with hair colored and glasses. I mean, you can't get more stereotypical than this, can you?
While you're on PTO, that said, the team has undergone
Look at the corporate. Look at the corporate speak. Oh my fucking god.
a restructuring, and unfortunately, your role has been eliminated, and that is effective today.
That is effective today.
I want you to know that this was an extremely difficult decision to make.
And by the way, like most of these companies, they will say that, oh, we're a corporate family. Like, I don't know if her company in particular is doing this, but I have seen so many companies that like, oh, we're a corporate families, and they give themselves pet names like Twiddles or shit. And this is how they fire you. Those other companies, they do exactly the same. They will go around and say, well, yeah, you know, we're all of this family and we're all in this together. And then they fire you and they don't give a shit. You got a girlfriend pregnant? Well, she's not part of the corporate family now, is she?
And we took a lot of care in making it. A lot of care in making it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of care in making it by firing the guy that just has his girlfriend pregnant. Sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure he believes it as well.
Again, all that said, I'm gonna drop off and let Cass discuss your offboarding with you.
I also know this is a lot to take in, especially after coming back from vacation, so if you need a pause, if you want questions.
Yeah, I guess just what's happening. I got fired.
Yes, the role is terminated.
Why don't they speak like human beings? Like who talks like the role is terminated? It's like, yeah, you got fired. Like, I'm sorry, it's not up to me. But like, yeah, look, I work for the same company. They told me to fire your ass. No, like, ironically, I am sorry about this. Like, it is a scummy thing, but like, I just do what the boss tells me, okay? Like, the boss tells me to fire you, I fire you. It is what it is. Why can't they talk like this, though? Like, isn't it more humane? Isn't it, like, more relatable than just having, like, a poker face going, yes, the role is terminated? It's like...
The role was no longer needed.
And the fact that she nods after, like, she says the corporate thing and she nods, like it's almost like she's trying to convince herself, isn't it? Like, this is what the body language does. It's her trying to convince herself that, yeah, the role is no longer needed. They're firing him because he got the girlfriend pregnant. That's literally it. Like the boss says in the first video, oh, well, this can affect work.
And how is that determined?
That was determined with the business leaders.
Vague stuff. Like, they're not going to say exactly what happened. Just like vague thing. It's kind of like with YouTube. When you get a TOS violation, they're not going to say why you got it. It's just like vague stuff.
The ways of working and how the team has evolved.
Yeah, who were the business
What the fuck does it even mean? It's like how the team has evolved. It's just...
leaders?
You know all of them. So it was Sarah, Taylor, Donnie. Sorry.
literally his boss, right?
Was it based on performance?
No, it wasn't based on performance. It was the overall structure of the team. I am sorry for the timing.
Yeah, especially I just told Taylor last week that my girlfriend's pregnant, but it's not a great time. But
And this type of smile as well. You know which which movie actually got, TV show, my bad. Which TV show actually managed to surpass the exact HR lady? Better Call Saul. Like, if you guys seen it, when Saul goes to talk about his insurance, and there's like this HR lady over there, or the salesperson, I guess. And, you know, she's also like giving the smile, and she's very corporate and friendly. But at the same time, like, she's writing everything down in order to fuck his brother over. It's literally like a slice of life, I would say.
Anything else for now?
Nope. Nothing else.
Okay, great. Thank you again, Tom. I appreciate the time. And I'll send this over to you immediately.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Cass.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Bye.
The thing is, you gotta be nice to these people. Because when you want to work at another company, you usually need a reference letter from them, so... I fear these people. Everyone fears those people. I remember I was getting pushed out the door when they started insisting I use all my accumulated leave. There are like so many reasons. Why do you need good audio? You have the subtitles. There are so many reasons why they can fire people. GameSpot, for instance, is renowned for this. I had people who worked at GameSpot. Like, apparently, the more you worked, you got a raise. Like, you know, every time you worked at GameSpot, every year, you got like a little bit of extra raise. And then by the time you are 40, you would make quite a lot of cash. So they would just fire you because they would just get someone new and start paying them from ground up again. It's And the thing is, it's like, all of this wokeness, it's like, oh, we're now inclusive, we're now a family, oh, we're left-leaning, we care about marginalized people. They fucking don't, you know? The thing that disgusts me the most is that if they would at least have, like, a right-wing ideology, it would make sense, right? Like, they would be like, well, we're companies, we're here to make money, we don't give a fuck about anything else. That would make sense. But no, we're compassionate, we care, oh, the marginalized, blah, blah. The thing is, when they say that America is systemically racist, right? It's like, what they want to say is that they are covertly racist. Like, they're pretending that they're not, but in reality they are. It's literally what they do in companies. They pretend that they're not capitalistic and cutthroat, but in reality they are. We need the audio to hear the soulless voice. Oh. It's no, it's not soulless. It's a fake voice. It pretends to be sad. It's got the gloomies, chat. It's got the gloomies. Sort of no pension, but you do get money, but not like working overtime. I got colleagues that got 2 weeks, but didn't actually want more, so only took 2 weeks. An AI would be more sympathetic than this NPC. The thing is, it's like there is a recommended way on how to behave with people. And what I mean by this, when a person is sad, sorry, when a person is angry, you can't pretend to be sad, you know, especially when you're not. Like, it feels off. Like, the HR lady is the one fighting you. There is no justification for her to actually pretend to be sad and pretend to care. Like, there are times when it's more appreciated if you actually have a little bit of stoicism, right? It's like, yeah, we're fighting you. I would appreciate that. I would appreciate having an HR person just... at least allow the guy to be angry at you, you know? The fact that you're faking this level of compassion, which is completely superficial... and you're faking these smiles, it's just... it doesn't come off as human. Talk about paid leave for men when they have a kid. I don't even think the guy wanted the paid leave. We used to have a choice, but now you lose 11 weeks if the dad don't use them. Before it was 2 weeks forced, and 9 you could use or give to the mother. Then, oh, I see. So maybe like that's why they decided, because of the paid leave. The thing is, like most Most women do not want the husband to actually be the one that stays home. This was like a feminist thing, but the people who say this are people without children. I mean, it's completely out of the question if I were to tell my wife, hey, you know, I stay home all the time. Don't take maternity leave. I will deal with the kid. She wouldn't even consider it. Unless you're poor and, you know, you earn more, so... Because, like, theoretically, like in Romania, we have, I think, like 2 years maternity leave. And you make around 75% of what you make at work. So, it's not... Yeah, it's not economically feasible most of the time for the women to stay home. Like, if you're thinking cash only, and you're trying to maximize your wealth, then it would make sense for the man to stay at home. Now, I generally do not know if we have paternity leave, but assuming we would, assuming that a legislation would pass, most women don't want it. Like, when a woman gives birth, it's also hormonal as well, so like, you love your kid unconditionally. It's evolutionary in nature. So the idea of like going to work knowing that the kid is at home, like, no. I don't want paid leave. I don't want paid insurance. I don't want pizza parties. I want more pay. Pay me. The thing that I really hate about modern corporations the most is when they force you to do anything else that doesn't involve your job. Or they want you to pretend that you're a family, or they want you to pretend that you're happy working there. It's like, look, you hired me to do a fucking job. Let me do the job and then let me go home. You know, and if I finish the job earlier, let me clock earlier. Why do I need to stay at work for more than necessary if I already finished the chore? So I'd act busy. Fuck off with your act busy shit. Some are fools enough to breed the HR? Oh my fucking god. Can you imagine, like, if you have an HR girlfriend and you piss her off? Holy shit. I mean, if you do so, like, imagine this. You got an HR girlfriend and you're dumb enough to cheat on her. Or whatever, you know, like, you make a slight and she gets vindictive. Do you know how much she can fuck you? Like, not just in that company, but she can fuck you cross companies as well. Because that's literally what HR does. They network. So if you want to mess with an HR woman, holy shit. And then not to mention if she gets jealous. Oh my god, if she gets jealous and she starts looking at your computer and looking through your files and trying to you know, talk with other colleagues so they can gossip about you. It's the worst thing ever. Like, do not date the HR lady, especially not the one from your company. Unless you are paid per hour, they are pretending to work is the best thing for you. Yeah. Either act busy or have too much work to possibly get done. That is another problem. But to be honest, I would rather have like too much work to get done than to act busy. Because like when you're actually working, time flies, right? Like when I was at the workplace, I enjoyed the time when I had a lot of work to do because time actually moves faster. Well, you're perceiving it, that time moves the same way, obviously. But when I didn't have any work and I was just sitting there boring my ass off, holy shit, like time moves slow as fuck. If I finish early my chores, other chores will be found. Again, it depends on what you do for a living, but at the hospital when I was working, there weren't that many. Hello, bigots. Well, welcome, Andre. Welcome. Why would anyone ever date the HR lady? Because she's hot and has tits. I mean, I have seen some hot HR ladies, but again, it's a danger zone. Sometimes you have too much work to do, while others act busy. Oh god, that is the worst thing that can happen as well. Act busy is the meaning. I definitely agree with that. It is. Okay, let me look at Elon Musk so we can talk about that. Where is it? Why didn't I save it? Hey, that's the Guardian. There was a tweet which basically said something like, rise in anti-Semitism recently. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know exactly what it said, but it says something like, the rise. Oh, here we go. So he responded to a tweet saying that Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of dialect hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. So they're probably talking about white privilege. They're talking about wokeness. Ben Shapiro made a video response to this. I loved it. And it's like, yes, but to say that all Jewish people, and it's like, well, no, he didn't say that all Jewish people. He said that communities, right? And when you go to the website of the ADL and you see that it is hateful to claim it's okay to be white, right? And now Jewish people are complaining that they can't say it's okay to be Jewish on college campuses. Now, of course, that is horrible. Like, you should be able to say it's okay to be any demographic. But like, as a white person, when you have been trained to put up with this and to accept it, it becomes normalized. It becomes normalized to hear other people say how evil, colonialist, racist, bigoted whites are, right? Like, as a white person, you hear this all the time. And now that you hear a subgroup of white people complaining about the same, you're like, why are you complaining? Isn't it normal? Like, aren't you used to this? Fellow white people? So this is what Elon Musk is talking about, right? But of course, due to his say, I think like the European Commission pulled away adverts from Twitter. And I'm thinking like, okay, when is the last time, like first of all, not seeing advertisements from the European Commission, big win. Like, I hope they manage to stay firm into their decision to pull out ads. I don't get to see ads about mass migration being the best thing ever. Holy shit, how will I live? But then there's like other companies that apparently pulled ads, like Apple and I don't know, I think it was IBM. Some big companies, and obviously I don't have the analytics. Like, I don't know what's going on at Twitter. But do these companies even advertise there? I mean, I never saw an Apple ad on Twitter. And I'm on Twitter almost daily. I've never seen ads from those companies. So anyway, the ADL CEO's Jonathan Greenblatt described Musk's endorsement of the anti-Semitic conspiracy. It's like, a conspiracy would include that there are people in the dark conspiring. Your website on the ADL says that it is hateful to say it's okay to be white. Your website on the ADL used to say, I think they changed it now, but it used to say that racism cannot be done against white people. Like, they had that definition of racism is privilege plus power, and therefore because white people have privilege and power. Like your website was part of the conspiracy. You are promoting this shit. So he wrote at a time when anti-Semitism is exploding in America and surging around the world, it is indispensably dangerous to use one's influence to validate and promote anti-Semitic theories. He wasn't promoting anti-Semitic theories. He was basically saying that anti-whiteness has been normalized. The ADL has been part of this on their website, right? But anyway, Musk continued saying that everyone is allowed to be proud of their race except for white people, because we've been brainwashed into believing that our history was somehow worse than other races. This false narrative must die. Where is the lie? Like, you go on Wikipedia and you look Black Pride, and they will say, yeah, it's okay to celebrate it. Gay Pride, it's okay to celebrate it. Super straight. Oh, no, that's harmful. No. Okay. Musk wrote, this is super messed up. This time for nonsense to end and shame anyone who perpetuates these lies. The tweet provoked immediate and strong backlash both on X and off. Tweets condemning Musk's reply as white supremacy conspiracy theory. Apparently, The Atlantic published an essay lambasting Musk, saying Elon Musk's disturbing truth. And Watchdog's publication Media Matters headline and story, Elon Musk lights his tiki torch. This is, by the way, like, this is their concern. Well, TikTok had the Osama letter trending, right? Like, you have other platforms genuinely promoting actual terrorism, and their concern is like Elon Musk responded to a tweet, right? So they're going to now pretend that the ideology that racism is privilege plus power, that America is systemically racist, that white people have privilege, that they're going to pretend that that shit doesn't exist. Or if it does, it just came out of the ether. You know, like one day, just people suddenly started thinking about it. They were like, hey, you know what? This white privilege thing, yeah, it's... No one promoted it from the mainstream media. It wasn't promoted in the academia. We can't link it to any university professor, Peggy McIntosh. No, it's just happened, you know? And Elon Musk is a crazy individual for saying it. He's actually harming people by saying it. And this is the thing, right? Like, Elon Musk actually says, X's point of view has always been very clear that discrimination by everyone should stop across the board. And that is the problem, right? Like, you can be anti-racist, but it's okay, according to the ADL and many other organizations, it's okay if you're racist to white people. Like, that's fine. And when Elon Musk says, no, actually, even white people shouldn't... Oh, no, that's too much. No, we need to pull away advertisers. Yes, rising anti-Semitic... Since his takeover on Twitter, Musk has restored controversial conservative accounts while simultaneously banning journalists and penalizing accounts critical of him. Yeah, but like, let's be honest, there have been right-wingers that have been penalized as well. And there have been left-wingers that also have been allowed back on Twitter. This is just selective framing. So here you go. IBM said it had immediately suspended advertisement on X, and found out that its ads were placed next to content promoting Adolf Hitler. This is why Media Matters is getting sued, by the way, because apparently they used an alternative account and they refreshed it so many fucking times until the anti-Semitic ads were played next to that. So they're going to get sued. It's going to be interesting to see how the lawsuit goes. Media Matters said it found corporate advertisements by companies including IBM, Apple, Oracle, and Xfinity being placed alongside anti-Semitic content, and IBM pulled away. Again, I've never seen an IBM ad on Twitter, ever. Now, I'm not saying they don't exist. Like, maybe they do pay a lot of money for the privilege. I don't know. Like, maybe you need to... Yeah, like IBM, I know. Maybe you need to browse different type of groups. Yeah, Alex Jones is forever banned. That's another point. But whatever, you know, it is what it is. I am very interested to see the lawsuit. And not to mention, like, their reaction to this is in their detriment, because like anyone knows, in 2023, you know, like back 4 or 5 years ago, if you are saying that woke ideology is disparaging towards white people, especially white men, there would be people that would say, what are you talking about? No, that's ridiculous. But in today's world, it's so self-evident that everyone knows that, yes, it is, of course. I mean, even in entertainment, right? There are comic books that flat out have the concept. It's like, oh, well, it's privilege plus power, blah. So all white people have power, right? Like it's interesting. There is a new Alex Jones computer game. Yeah, I saw that. No, the thing that really abused me the most is that ADL had on its website, and I think it's... Look. Um, I think they also may have changed their original article because it used to be this, by the way, right? Because there's a lot of stuff on the ADL which, when you look at it, it doesn't make any sense, right? That it's like, for instance, the OK sign or drinking milk, random letters or numbers, right? And you're wondering, like, why is the ADL having these things on the website? Like, are they a serious organization or not? And the answer is very simple. If they do an investigation, so for example, you will find like all these studies claiming, oh, Twitter has a rise in hateful content, right? Well, they use Pepe the Frog, they use the OK sign, they use the it's okay to be white thing. They use all of these, and every time they find it, it's a hate sign, right? And then the person doing the study will count how many, and they will say, oh, look, it's a hateful platform. That's why they do it. It's to create false positives, basically. Because when you hear, like if I am to hear, okay, there was a hate incident, you think like, oh, must have been some anti-Semitic shit, like someone used gamer words or they used the N-word or whatever. But in reality, they were probably using the OK sign or what. I need to go on the Archcast. Arch is screaming after me, so I'll see you guys there. Sorry for ending it a little bit later. I just didn't notice the time. So yeah, I'll see you guys.